Tonight on Coyote News, this past weekend, USD hosted the 92nd Annual Stroller Show. The event was filled with dancing and jokes, but the after party found some people with minors. The details coming up. And it's SGA election week. We talk with a member of the only team running for president and vice president. I'm Michaela Feldman.
And I'm Bailey Millen. With spring break only 2 days away, the semester will be over before you know it. Tonight, we give you some options to get a head start on looking for a summer internship and find out more about a 17-year-old who's running her own Vermilion business.
Plus, for the first time in program history, the women's basketball team seals the championship title for the Summit League regular season. And the men's team scored a victory against rival SDSU. Find out what's next for the Coyotes. But first, the headlines with Taylor Fouth.
The U.S. Senate failed to override President Barack Obama's veto of the Keystone XL pipeline legislation. The Republican-controlled Senate voted 62 to 37, which is 5 votes short of the 67 supermajority needed to override a presidential veto. Boston Marathon bombing suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev went to trial today. His defense attorney, Judy Clark, says her client was guilty, but she argued that he was under the influence of his older brother, Tamerlan. Lawyers for Tsarnaev say they plan to portray Tamerlan as the mastermind of the attack. If Tsarnaev is convicted, he could face life in prison or the death penalty. The trial is expected to last a few months. McDonald's officials say their U.S. restaurants will no longer sell products made with chickens raised with antibiotics. The changes will be made over the next 2 years, as many big poultry processors will have to alter the way many producers raise chickens. This announcement comes just 3 days after Steve Easterbrook took over as McDonald's CEO. And those are your headlines.
The 92nd Stroller Show was held last Friday and Saturday, but for some people, the festivities at the end of the weekend landed them with legal consequences. Much like previous years, college students above and below the ages of 21 congregated to the Main Street Pub for what many students refer to as Stroller Sunday. Chad Passett, captain of the Vermilion Police Department, says officers were patrolling the downtown area when they came across a significant mess outside of the pub.
They made the determination to go inside and do a standard ID check, and as they did so, they found that there were several underage individuals inside the bar and subsequently issued citations to those individuals.
Police handed out 5 citations for underage consumption, which is up 4 from last year's Stroller Sunday. Passek says the bar isn't currently facing any charges, but the possibility of charges still exists.
It's SGA Election Day, which means tonight USD may have a new president and vice president. But with just one team running this year, the rules are slightly different than previous years. Coyote News' Anthony Goshi is live in the muck with this year's only vice presidential candidate to talk about the different scenarios that could happen after the results are tallied. Anthony?
Thanks, Michaela. The SGA governs the entire student body of USD, and with me is Vice Presidential Candidate Michael Buchanan. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh yeah, no problem.
You and Sammy are the only people running for president and vice president. How do the rules differ this year than what they do in the past?
Well, in a traditional year, you'd have 2 candidates for each campaign, and you'd have an election. People would have to pick between one or the other. I think this year, the reason it's mostly different is because there's a yes or no vote. People can vote no. We preferably have them vote yes, but I mean, that's not an ideal world. And so this year, mainly, it's been different because there's a lot more awareness about SGA, a lot more awareness about student concerns, and less focus on the battle between 2 sides.
What are the details of the general activity fee proposal, and what is your stance on it?
The details are essentially that it's going to go to a lot of various places. The vast majority, not the vast majority, but a majority of it will go to athletics, but the main concern with that is bringing us up to standard and up to par with the rest of the teams and the schools in our conferences, because that's very important to us to stay competitive as a school and with our athletic programs. But then also you'll be seeing percentages go to student health, to the Center for Diversity and Community to help them start programming, to the sustainability initiative that we're having at the university, and as well as about $57,000 towards improving student organization programming.
And going back to you being the only candidates running, what complications have you guys occurred?
There really really haven't been many complications for us, I would say. The campaigns ran pretty smoothly. It's been nice working with the media here on campus. There hasn't been any main issues we've encountered. Everything that's been talked about has been mainly with the last administration, how we've been dealing with that, how we move forward with those transitions, and what we'd like to keep and get rid of. There hasn't been too many things that have been directly specific to us, though.
Thank you so much. A link to the voting can be found on the MyU portal, and voting ends at 8 p.m. Live from the Muck, I'm Anthony Gosh.
Thanks, Anthony. This weekend, CAB announced the performer for their big spring concert. Hoodie Allen will be coming to Ouse Auditorium on Thursday, March 19th. The show starts at 8 o'clock at night and doors open at 7. Hoodie Allen is an independent hip-hop recording artist. In 2012, his All-American album landed in the top 10 of Billboard's Top 200 without a label or management. Since the concert's in Ouse, there are a limited number of tickets available. They can be purchased at usdticketsonline.com.
Coming up after the break, find out how a 17-year-old is running her own Vermilion business. And we take a look at the future of Greek life at USD. Stay with us.
Your fire attack. Your fire attack. 1926.
Vermilion Clothing Stores just got some new competition, and it's from a 17-year-old. On this week's Yolt Report, Erica Arpan finds out how a high school student is running her own business.
Have you ever dreamed about owning your own business? One 17-year-old has. Chloe Nielsen of Vermilion will be opening up her own clothing store later this month. With the help from her parents, Nielsen says she hasn't had any trouble with being a high school student and part-time business owner. She says she has a routine down to balance everything out.
I go to all my classes in the morning, and then right after I'm done with my classes, I'll come here, and I'll basically be here until probably 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then go home and do my homework and wake up and do the same thing.
Clotique will carry a wide variety of clothing for women. The clothing will be for ages ranging from late teens to mid-40s. It will also have different options for accessorizing. Nielsen says her favorite part about opening up the boutique is picking out the clothes and what brands she's going to carry. When it comes to choosing what to put in the store, she says she loves that the layout of the boutique will be all her ideas.
Kind of just the whole interior design aspect of it. I've loved being able to pick out and design and kind of have it how I want it to be.
Clotique is currently under construction, and Chloe plans to have a grand opening event. The boutique will have a rustic look to it, along with different styles of decorations. Once the semester is over and Clotique is open for business, Nielsen says that she will attend USD in the fall. If you're looking for a new place to shop, Clotique opens its doors March 16th. For the Yolt Report, I'm Erica Arpan.
As Greek communities around the nation attempt to maintain presence on college campuses, local members are focusing on their future as well. Working to keep the door open for sororities and fraternities, USD Greek members, faculty, and alumni banded together on Monday to create a strategic plan.
We're going to think about what does sorority fraternity life mean on this campus and how can we make it better. And we're going to really dig deep, and we're going to try and figure out what we can do to propel our community forward and make sure that we're still relevant in the years to come.
Participants broke into several committees to focus on specific concerns discussed during the meeting. During the coming month, the group will construct the Greek community's future roadmap.
Last Friday, future Yotes had the chance to experience a day in the life of a USD student. As part of Admitted Students Day, students who have been accepted to USD started their day with a welcome in the muck. Parents and students then separated, with students either sitting in on a class or joining their parents for a session. While on campus, they learned about Move-In Day, the honors program, and how to pick a major. After the sessions, the potential students could go to optional appointments, which included campus tours, placement testing, and informational sessions about financial aid. More than 100 high school students signed up for the event. It may be too cold outside, but it's not too soon for students to start making career plans for the summer. On one side of the library, students can be found studying for classes to make the grade. But down the hall, students have a resource to put the word and the world together.
My position is to really help students find internships, job opportunities, help prepare them for life after college, whether it's a resume critique, or I'm helping them with mock interviews, or I'm really just having a one-on-one conversation with the student about, okay, what is it that you really want to do? Tell me about what your dream job would be.
Gerard says students should look more closely at their previous work experiences, as they often possess skills employers are looking for in internship and job applicants. It may be too late to get an ideal summer internship, but Gerard says it's not too late to start thinking about career-related opportunities for the upcoming fall and spring semesters.
Coming up next, jokes, dances, and cheerleading stunts. We take an inside look at the 90-second stroller show and learn more about how Coyoteopoly is preparing for this summer's Shakespeare Festival. Stay with us.
USD's Media and Journalism Department can be seen and heard all over campus. Faculty members know that hands-on experience now is the key to success after college. Get professional experience by participating in one of the many practicums offered. Have your voice heard on the radio. Edit a promo for a campus organization. Investigate breaking news stories for a weekly newspaper. Design advertisements for local businesses. Get involved with the Media and Journalism Department at USD and start your future now.
Last Friday night, Coyoteopoly held a fundraising event called Wine with Will. As Coyote News' Katie McNeil found out, the money raised supports one of Coyoteopoly's main events.
Wine, food, and art. These are just some of the features at Wine with Will Friday night. The event was put on by Coyoteopoly to raise money for the Shakespeare Festival. Coyoteopoly is a student-run organization out of the business school with a net value of over $120,000. The Shakespeare Festival is just one of the events that Coyoteopoly puts on throughout the year. Wine with Will had a silent auction to help raise money during the event. It also featured students doing monologues and playing live music. Chief Operations Officer Cody Nelson says the event teaches him professional skills.
The event helps me because it gives me real-life experience in how to organize an event, direct manpower, and essentially generate money like it will someday in the real world.
The Shakespeare Festival will take place June 11th through the 14th and will feature the play Macbeth. For Coyote News, I'm Katie McNeil.
The event raised over $5,000 for the Shakespeare Festival. A group of USD's musicians showed off their skills for the Jazz Ensemble's concert Monday night in the Colton Recital Hall. The jazz band practices before the percussion ensemble every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So this year, the two came together as Colton Jazz to perform a Latin jazz show. Under the direction of Darren Wadley, USD Jazz also performed Monday under the direction of CJ Coker after the Colton Jazz portion of the concert. 39 musicians played a total of 9 songs for the audience.
Singing, dancing, and jokes that target a little bit of everything have become to be expected at USD Stroller Show. This tradition is put on by the university's Greek community. As Katia Deshenko reports, this year's show saw multiple takes on the same hit song and an upset of last year's winning team.
It seems like every team at this year's show was trying to funk its way to first place, with 3 of 4 teams singing Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk. From mermaids to a few familiar faces from The Wizard of Oz and a party of pirates, everyone put a different spin on the song. In the end, Pi Beta Phi, Phi Delta Theta, and Lambda Chi Alpha, the only team not singing Bruno Mars, took home first place with their Saturday morning cartoon show.
It's such a crazy feeling. We're all so pumped up right now. The past 2 months of hard work have just blown up.
Last year's winning sorority, Alpha Phi, won second place with their Wizard of Oz themed show.
I think that was the best performance that APHI and TEAC and SAE had done the whole time that we've been performing this. So I'm really excited. I think Pi Phi had a really, really great show, and I'm really happy they won.
Alpha Z Delta Delta Tau Delta, and Phi Kappa Alpha won third place. Kappa Alpha Theta, Pi Kappa Alpha, and Beta Theta Pi took fourth. For Coyote News, I'm Katia Dushenko.
Strollers will be donating some of its proceeds to charities, including USD Dakotathon, which raises money for the Children's Miracle Network. With spring break less than 2 days away, Andy Hartman is here to give you some travel advice to get to your destination safely.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that almost everyone's going to be driving somewhere over spring break, whether it be driving home or driving to the airport, because you're lucky enough to be going somewhere that's not here. The point is, if you have to drive on any sort of road, you're going to have to deal with other drivers, which means you'll most likely experience some road rage, because you are the best driver in the world, and anyone who drives differently than you can't drive well and should not be allowed to operate a motorized vehicle. Like those people who pull out in front of you and then go 10 miles under the speed limit on a one-lane highway, and you can't do anything about it because you're in a really hilly area, so the entire road is a no passing zone. But that's the great thing about spring break. When you finally do get home or to your resort or whatever, you can relax and forget about those awful drivers. That really bad driver is probably at work for 8 hours every day. And where are you? Not at work. So although they may have made you mad, you're the real winner here. For Coyote Blog, I'm Andy Hartman.
Thanks, Andy. Coming up after the break, for the first time in program history, the Coyote women's basketball team seals the championship title for the Summit League regular season. And we find out how student athletes feel about the progress of the Dakota Dome expansion. Stay tuned.
You're fired back. You're fired back. 1926.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, the Coyote women's basketball team makes history, and the men's basketball team beat rival South Dakota State over the weekend. And the Bauer beat, Sean gives you his first take on USD-SDSU rivalry game he attended. I'm Brandon Noel.
And I'm Sean Bauer. Find out how the Dakota Dome expansion may be delayed a little longer than first thought. And Coyote News' Levi Goots is live with the tennis team to discuss their season under a new head coach. But first, the headlines. Taylor?
The Philadelphia Eagles have agreed to trade running back LaShawn McCoy to the Buffalo Bills. McCoy was the leading rusher in the NFL in 2013 and is the third leading rusher in the NFL since he entered the league in 2009. The deal can't be made official until next week when the league officially begins. Former NBA player Anthony Mason passed away at the age of 48 last Friday. Mason, who played 13 seasons in the NBA, most notably for the New York Knicks and Charlotte Hornets, was diagnosed with congestive heart failure after suffering a massive heart attack earlier in February and finally succumbed to the condition on Friday. Junior Tavasky Lewin has sealed his place in the NCAA Indoor Championships after clocking 7.79 seconds in the 60-meter hurdles twice this season. Lewin is the first male Coyote track and field athlete to qualify for the Indoor Championship meet and ranks 16th in the event. Lewin enters the NCAA Championships after earning track championship MVP honors at the Summit League meet this past weekend. The NCAA Indoor Championships take place next weekend. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Taylor. The women's basketball team won their first regular season Summit League championship on Saturday. The Coyotes also recognized their 4 seniors and capped a perfect 14-0 record at the Dakota Dome. USD beat Western Illinois 78-75 in their final regular season game. Seniors Nicole Seekamp and Rochelle Contreras led the Coyotes with 20 and 19 points respectively. Western Illinois got within 1 point 4 different times, but missed a game-tying 3 at the buzzer to give the Coyotes the win. USD celebrated the victory by cutting down the nets in front of the home crowd. The win gives the Coyotes the #1 seed in the Summit League tournament this weekend. All Summit League tournament games will be played at the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls. USD will be the first game of the tournament against the number 8 seed IPFW. The tip is set for 12:05 on Saturday afternoon.
It was rivalry weekend here in Vermilion as the USD men's basketball team defeated SDSU 80-64 on Saturday. Casey Kasperbauer made 4 3-pointers and scored 14 of his 17 points in the first half to give the Coyotes a 10-point halftime lead. With 5 minutes left in the game, SDSU came within 7, but James Hunter's and Brandon Boss's field goals pushed the USD lead back to 11. Trey Burnett led the way for USD with 19 points and 13 rebounds, while the Jackrabbits' Cody Larson led all scorers with 25 points. The Coyotes begin the Summit League tournament on Sunday as the 5 seed and take on Fort Wayne in the quarterfinals. The Coyote women's tennis team is off to a successful start with 4 wins and 1 loss on the record. Coyote News' Levi Goots is live in the muck with a member of the tennis team to talk about their successful season so far, what's to come, and how the team is working with their new head coach. Levi?
Thanks, Sean. The tennis team is ranked nationally for the first time in program history, and we're talking about it with Millie Pavlavka today. Thank you so much for being with us. So how would you rank this this season compared to last year?
Well, this season we started playing very well. We improved our practices a lot. We're practicing much more than we have had before. We won 4 out of 5 matches this year, which is a very good result, and we're very confident in our play.
And what would you say your goal is for this season?
Well, our goal is to win as much conference matches as we can, because it's always like conference is very important. And also this semester we got a new coach, which helped us a lot. So as I already said, we improved our practice, and I think he's doing a very good job helping us improve our game. And I think we're gonna have a very successful season.
All right, and then I heard you guys are going to Orlando in Florida for the spring break. What's that going to be like?
Well, yes, that's true. We're going there in a few days. We have 5 meets over there, and those are not conference matches, so we're going to have time to prepare. Those are going to be like practice matches. So we're going to have enough time to prepare mentally and physically for our conference matches.
Thank you. The tennis team will travel to Orlando, Florida to take on Providence on March 10th. Live from the muck, I'm Levi Goots.
Thanks, Levi. Construction on the track and soccer complexes has stopped until the base of the new basketball arena is finished. As Coyote News' Peter Chapman reports, this has the original completion date of the project pushed back.
All teams are excited for the new practice space that will be available when the construction is finished.
We just can't wait for the construction to be done. I mean, we've been practicing and playing on one field in the 5 years that I've been here, so it will be phenomenal to actually have a practice field that we can chew up a little bit more and be on a daily basis and stay off our game field.
So the outdoor track complex is sometime October, November. Should be done, and if everything goes well, they'll have the grass seeded this summer, the track surface in by then, lines painted and everything with a November date that we'll be running on it.
It's going to be great to have our own on-site track.
I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, I wish it was done next year already, but it'll be nice to have our own arena and a place to shoot around.
Many athletes train inside the dome year-round. With construction underway on the south side wall, many athletes are feeling the effect of dust created by the construction.
If we're tracking dirt and dust and all that from the locker room over to the West Gym, so we just have to be very mindful to not wear our indoor shoes over there so we don't run into the extremely slippery floor that we would get with all that dust.
You get a little bit of noise, you lost a little bit of room on the end of the track, but nothing that's been a problem at this point. I think everybody's just really excited about what's coming, so we're all willing to have a little dusty dome once in a while to get to this new facility.
The track team will have an early meet in April next year in preparation for hosting the 2016 Summit League Championships. However, the soccer team won't be able to hit the pitch of their new soccer complex until a year after the sod is laid. For Coyote News, I'm Peter Chapman.
In this week's Bauer Beat, Sean gives us his thoughts on the Coyotes versus Jackrabbits rivalry.
Saturday, I attended my first USD-SDSU game in any sport, and I'd say it was a pretty good first ever Coyote Jackrabbit game to attend, considering the Coyotes beat the Jackrabbits handily. The best part about the game wasn't even the fact that USD won, but how awesome the environment was. You know, I've attended several sporting events here in my first year at USD, but I've always thought the fans here lacked the passion that many other schools in their conference display. Well, on Saturday, I was completely proven wrong. The Dome was absolutely rocking, and yes, it helped the Coyotes won the game and were playing against their biggest rival, but either way, the fans came out in bunches, were passionate, and very loud. I guess I just hope we all continue our showing of support for our teams, because that is what makes college sports the best. Obviously, it helps if your teams are good when it comes to fan support, but if you only support the teams when they're winning, then you are no better than those bandwagon fans up north. So keep rooting on the Yotes, attend games, and be loud, because it's the fans that make college sports the best out there. And that's the Bauer Beat.
Thanks, Sean. Coming up after the break, this week's edition of Coyote Shorts brings us to an unexpected spring hotspot. Stay with us.
The Latino Student Organization is a all-inclusive student organization that focuses on bringing in Latino culture to University of South Dakota. We do fiestas, we do piñata parties. We also just hold potlucks where we cook and we just share Latino culture and food and just mingle.
With spring break so close, a lot of students are traveling to tropical destinations.
But on this week's edition of Coyote Shorts, Spring Break Destinations 2015 stops by to show us how Vermilion is going to be this year's hotspot.
Whoa, here we go. Now let's see why Vermilion, South Dakota is such a great time for spring break. Don't worry about the temperature, just grab a coat and truck along. Verm Beach is a great place for anybody who wants to go ice fishing. Never feel unprotected again. Vermilion Police Department is here to protect you from harm. Vermilion also has an abundance of wildlife. Oh, hey there, little guy. Adopt any Verm cat at your own risk. Activities range anywhere from frisbee golf to the awesome shopping deals at Walmart. Enjoy some of Vermilion's well-known restaurants. Options include McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Taco John's, the Burger King, Steak Escape, Pizza Hut, Subway. The scenery here is beautiful. Vermilion is home to Spirit Mound. Legend is tiny people with green heads kill anyone who approach it, and it's also a great place to meet new people. I hope to see you in Vermilion. I know I'll be there. See you next time on Spring Break Destinations.
That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And if you have a story idea you'd like to share, email it to us at kyotnews@usd.edu. We also want to see how USD students spent their spring breaks. Post your pictures using the hashtag SB2015, and your photo could be featured on our March 18th newscast.
Have a great night. We'll see you next time.